Why don't we get into what we think will be announced at the Game Awards? I guess the things we should talk about right away are what we know is going to be there. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is going to have a gameplay trailer. That's been confirmed. It sounds like Bandai Namco has teased that Tekken 8 will be there. Epic Games and 505 has teased a new announcement. And Larian Studios has also said they're going to be there. It also looks like Activision might tease a new Crash Bandicoot game. Okay, that is interesting. But why don't we get into some of the rumors? Now, these are rumors. We're not entirely sure if this is happening. So we'll gauge, I guess we'll gauge this by what we think, if it's possible or not. The thing that I keep hearing is that Elden Ring DLC will be announced at the Game Awards. They just announced that, FromSoft just announced that there's a Colosseum DLC for free that is coming. But other than that, that's all I've heard from FromSoft or from anybody about this, except for like rumors and scuttlebutt. Do you think there's going to be a significant Elden Ring announcement for DLC?
It's hard to say, especially since they set up the game to be as complete as it could be.
Yeah.
So I want to say, in my opinion, I feel like it's maybe reaching a bit too far, but who knows? From Software could pull something out of nowhere when they win Game of the Year and everything, and just surprise everyone. And go, hey, guess what? Surprise! We've got DLC coming, guys. Thank you for letting us win, but our gift to you is boom, free DLC. Check it, and then that'd be it.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost presuming they're winning. I mean, we think they are going to win, but that'd be funny if they decide, hey, we'll make it the very last announcement after we win. And then God of War wins and goes, oh, guess what? Elden Ring DLC. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would be funny. I don't think they need to announce at the Game Awards, to be quite honest with you. Because the minute they put a PR blast that DLC is coming to Elden Ring, it's going to sell. So that's the only thing I can think of as to whether they have an announcement for DLC or not. Do they need to do it? And I don't think they do. Now, is it a possibility? Sure. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think what's more than likely going to happen is Horizon Forbidden West might have DLC announced. Apparently, days before the show, details for a DLC called Burning Shores leaked online, and it said this take place in San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. It's set to release in April. These are according to leaks and rumors. It would make sense for that to be announced at the Game Awards, though. What do you think?
It'll be interesting if that one gets confirmed. I haven't really looked too much into the source for that one, so
Yeah.
I can't quite say I feel 100% confident in saying, yeah, it's likely going to be a thing, or no, it's not going to be a thing. So, yeah, this one, I would say I would probably rate it on the level of a coin toss, that this could be down to a coin toss at this point.
Another rumor is that Dragon Age Dreadwolf or Mass Effect 4 might get shown something there. If any of them are being shown, it's a cinematic trailer, a teaser trailer, or one of those trailers where they just show like art schematics, which essentially is nothing, essentially. These are two games that they need to, when they are ready, they need to come out big to get people excited. Because if they mess up in any sort of way, this could spell trouble for BioWare. I don't think they are going to announce anything there, but if they do, it better be something significant. Because if it's another... Because they've had, I think with Dreadwolf, they've had about now 3 teaser cinematic trailers, and Mass Effect has just had an art, like an art trailer, essentially. So at this point, people are looking for information. I don't think they're going to look for another cinematic, and that will just more or less piss off people who are interested in those games. So if they're showing something, it's going to be something significant. I don't think it is going to be significant, so I'm thinking that's not happening. What do you think?
I kind of agree with you on the thought about BioWare that for the last while they've just shown either teaser concepts of games universes or or the art concepts, or I think the one that was kind of weird was when they decided to announce that they were rebooting the Dragon Age project, and they're like, "Hey, by the way, here's a logo, guys. Get excited, get hyped." And it was just like, "Oh, guys, this is not how you drive up hype." So, yeah, if BioWare does something, it needs to be some sort of vertical slice showing off like just a general idea of the features and things that you can do. And if it's not that, then you're going to have some very, very dedicated BioWare fans who are probably going to go, "Really? Another softball trailer? Damn it, BioWare, we're sick of this. Just move the fuck on."
Like,
so
you don't want your audience to start thinking that you're having problems. And the best way to do that is to go by without a trailer for 2 years, and it's another cinematic trailer. Like, you don't want that. At that point, the fan base wants to believe that you're working on it and it's close to done. So if you're announcing something, you're saying it's almost done. So that's my thought on it. Like, if they are announcing something, it better be close to finished. And if it's not and it's coming soon, it's like, oh, why bother at this point? If it's any of them, I think it will be Dreadwolf. But again, I don't think anything from EA and BioWare is going to happen in there, or specifically BioWare. I don't think BioWare is going to announce anything.
I mean, at this point, BioWare's better off just keeping their nose to the grindstone and just silently working on stuff right now. But yeah, just anyone who's pushing the hype on themselves that there is going to be something from BioWare, I think it may either be in disappointment or they may be underwhelmed to find out that BioWare decided to go with, "Hey, let's show yet another cinematic trailer."
BioWare is at a point now, if they mess up the next game, they're a support studio for DICE in the next after that. So they need a hit, and they need to just work on that and blow right out of the park. This is a rumor that has been going around that Hideo Kojima, he's going to be there, but apparently the rumor is he's going to announce a new game. Call me cynical, but I think he's just going to plug his podcast. I don't know. Like, maybe he'll announce an award, but I just think he's going to be like, "Ah, yes, Jeff Keighley, how are you? You were in my podcast 2 months ago. Here's a clip." And they show the clip, and then, "Thank you very much, bye," and then that's it. I think that's what's happening. But the rumor is that Death Stranding 2 will be announced, and this is the one that has, apparently, that Elle Fanning is going to be in. I think, because Kojima is apparently doing so much stuff right now that we don't know exactly what's going on. But the rumor right now is Death Stranding 2. I don't think that's happening. I'm just gonna come out right and say it. What do you think?
It's kind of hard to say because I know that over the last 6 months he's been teasing whatever his new project has been on the Kojima Productions site with like a face of an actor and then kind of like a flashing background that says "Who am I?"
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So the usual wacky reveal that Kojima does. So I want to say that part of me wants to say that it's probably going to be maybe a soft plug for his podcast of, "Hey, just if you want to listen to my thoughts on video games, movies, and music and stuff, yeah, join my podcast." And if there is some sort of a Death Stranding announcement, maybe put it down at like 5%. But yeah, just I wouldn't put substantial stock onto it, especially with just how weird and cryptic Kojima can be.
Yeah, if that. I don't even think it's going to be happening. I think, like I said, I'm kidding to a certain extent, but something tells me Kojima's just there because, "Hey, Jeff, we're buddies," and he's just doing an award and that's it. I don't think he's announcing anything. One thing that I know will be there, and I think people have forgotten about this because Digital Extremes has not been talking about this. When Soulframe was announced in July, I think it was, they specifically said in the video that they're going to show more at the Game Awards. I don't know if that's going to be a commercial or if they're going to do a teaser or a trailer or whatever, but Soulframe in some form is going to be there. unless that's changed. But I'm expecting Soulframe to be there.
I know recently the Soulframe site has actually eased up to the point that you can now start solving the puzzle on its webpage to reserve your nickname. And I would say that if you're into Soulframe, you need to do this immediately, because if Digital Extreme shows something of any sort of substance on the Game Awards this coming Thursday, you can expect that name reserving site that they set up for Soulframe to just be completely hugged to death by the internet at large. And it's going to be like what happened this summer when people were trying to rush in and just reserve their nicknames on the Soulframe site. It's just going to be bad. So, as someone who has quite loved Warframe, I would love to see more of what they have for their Soulframe project, especially because of the fact that you've got this whole soul possession mechanic of just kind of borrowing souls from different creatures and things like that. The concept that they showed off earlier this year at the Summer Games Fest, it just looks flat out interesting. I'm definitely very, very interested in that, but yeah, just I would advise anyone who is really wanting to get in on the ground floor for Soulframe, make sure you try to do your name reservation ASAP. Otherwise, just if they show some sort of insane vertical slice that's just really, really crazy, I expect it to just be another rush on the site. Just people just running to just reserve their nicknames and everything. And again, yeah, it's just going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Soulframe, I think, will likely be there unless something has changed. Apparently, Diablo 4 has been reported by Insider Gaming that it will be there. This is due to a potential leak that happened in August. People are thinking that this will mean that they're going to announce the date, which, if true, I mean, cool. I think it will be there in some form, but I don't think a date will be announced. I think this will be an E3 thing where they announce it will be fall of next year. I hope to be wrong. I would like it to be in March or April, but I think from what I've heard of people who have played Diablo 4 in the betas right now, is that they still need to have more stuff in there. So I think it's about a year away at this point.
I'm not sure that their spring summer date for Diablo 4 is on track. If it is on track, it's a very, very aggressive timeline to just get the game ready and everything, especially since I think Microsoft has been promoting that it will be on Game Pass potentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just a lot of things to do in the meantime. But it'll be really interesting to see if they've got anything more substantial to reveal about Diablo 4. As a lifelong Diablo addict, I would love to see more, but if for some reason that there's not, I foresee some sort of giant apology post on Blizzard's social accounts of saying, hey, we don't feel that the game is in a ready state. We'll come back at you, January, February or something, when we've got a little bit more of a more solid vertical slice of what we're showing and that the game's all about and things like that. So that's really how I feel about Diablo 4.
I think in some form it will be there. I just don't think it's going to be... I don't think there's going to be a release date. And if there is going to be a release date, I would be shocked if it's in the first half of the year. My opinion on that. Let's move on. Final Fantasy 16, I think, is going to be there. Yoshi P is presenting. It just sounds like, since he is the producer of that game, that he is going to be there to announce the date. And I think I've talked about it. I've talked about it with you. I think we've talked about it on this podcast as well. I've liked what I've seen of Final Fantasy 16, so I'm excited. I think this is a fall release. I don't think this is a summer release where people are saying. I think they want to give Yoshi P and his team enough time to make this really good after the issues 15 had.
Either it's going to be a hard release date or maybe a seasonal release date is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to be in agreement with you that it's probably going to be probably fall or winter of next year, more than likely, especially with Naoki Yoshida having a perfectionist attitude of things. For anyone who's not familiar with him, he is the producer behind Final Fantasy XIV, Square Enix's MMO that's been keeping him financially afloat on the games division.
Mhm.
So, if you have seen any of his blog posts about the game, he is a bit of a perfectionist on just how the game is going. So, like one of the best case examples is when there's a new patch note or a new patch release that comes out for a major patch, you're talking 6 to 8 printed pages worth of text on just every single little thing that has changed. That's the kind of perfectionist he is. And I know in the few interviews that he's had with outlets like IGN about the game and just why the game is kind of set where it is and why the game is going for a more action bent than sort of a turn-based RPG bent, he's been extremely passionate about the game because he's pretty much the shining star for the Square Enix gaming division right now. Square Enix is pretty much letting him do whatever he wants to ensure that Final Fantasy XVI it comes out the way he wants it to. So, yeah, I would say I am likely in agreement with you that this is probably going to be a game that will either release sometime fall of 2023 or maybe as late as winter 2023.
Winter 2023, maybe even 2024. I mean, this is a game that I think people are willing to wait for. I mean, this I have not heard a lot of people say bad things, but unless you're talking about Kotaku, but who cares about it? For the most part, I've heard nothing but excitement about this game. So I would be... I don't think it's first half of this year. I think you're right. It's going to be second half of this coming year. I wouldn't be surprised if a date was announced. The next one, Metal Gear Solid has been rumored as releasing something, or Konami's releasing something Metal Gear Solid. I've heard it's a remake of 1, a remake of 2, a remake of 3, remaster of the first 3 games. Game Rant has a remake of 5 as the rumored thing right now. I think if something is going to be announced Metal Gear, it's a remaster of 1, 2, and 3. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Some of the rumors that I was reading, there was an Argentinian site that I was reading, and they claim that it's supposedly a complete remake of the entire Metal Gear Solid anthology. So 1, 2, 3, 4, the PSP games, just all bundled into like just this mega anthology collection. And when I was reading this Argentinian take on it, I was just like, wow, that is really, really stretching it. Just
yeah.
If you said, 1, 2, and 3, I might be able to kind of give you benefit of the doubt and say, okay, yeah, just that sounds plausible to me because, just 1, 2, and 3 sort of gave the series the renown that it was known for. But to kind of stretch it to say, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the PSP games, I was just like, wow, that's really stretching it.
Yeah.
With how inconsistent the consensus seems to be, where you've got one side going, yeah, it's a remake of 1, 2, and 3. Then you've got another side going, no, it's a remake of 4. Just with all the inconsistencies, this one is going to be curious to see how it pans out, because if it ends up just being a complete dud and there's no announcement, I can see just people ripping into any site that reported about this.
What if this ends up
their hopes up?
Oh, sorry. What if this ends up being the thing that Hideo Kojima announces? I'm coming back to Konami. Like, wait, what?
Well, I wouldn't say coming back, but hey, I'm going to be doing a partnership with Konami to remaster my old games. That would be one hell of a surprise. I'd be like, what?
Yeah. That would be the only way I would see a Metal Gear Solid 5 remake. I'm on Game Rant right now, and they seem to think it's a Metal Gear Solid 5 remake. Metal Gear Solid 5 is incomplete. Like, it's not a complete game. And in order to remake that, you would have to complete it. And I would think you can't complete it without Kojima. So if it's a Metal Gear Solid 5 remake and Kojima is not involved, that's like a why bother situation on that end. I'm guessing it's a remaster of 1, 2, and 3. I think that's what it is. I don't see them doing remakes of any of them unless people are really going to buy in. I think this is one of those things where Konami is going to want to see if people are still interested in Metal Gear Solid, because it's been a while since Metal Gear Solid 5 and Metal Gear Survive. Ugh. And there might be a belief in Konami that no one cares about Metal Gear anymore. So whatever the safest thing to do is to test the waters, remaster the first 3 games, and put them on current gen consoles. I think that's more likely than them spending hundreds of millions of dollars on doing a remake of any of these games. I would be surprised if that happened, but I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Again, or that might be the Hideo Kojima announcement and being like, yeah, I'm working with Konami. I'm like, wait, why? It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what results out of this, because I saw the rumors earlier this morning and this afternoon, and I was just like, wow, just if the remake of 5 is the angle that they're going with, they better have a working partnership with Kojima, because 5, like you said, is incomplete, especially if you didn't get the collector's edition, because apparently there was one chapter that didn't make it into the actual game, but got turned into like a Blu-ray cinematic cut on the collector's edition that had the extra Blu-ray disc in the box. So I just don't see them being able to properly remake 5 without having the pivotal guy behind it, especially when you take into account of stuff like, one of the chapters was technically incomplete because you had to have the collector's edition that had the extra Blu-ray disc, and if you never bought the Blu-ray or the collector's edition, you didn't get to see this Blu-ray disc. But I think, if anything, the more plausible thought is probably a remake of 1, 2. We'll see how this goes, and if there's nothing, then I'm sure there's going to be quite a number of people laughing and going, ha, that rumor's bunk in the first place.
Yeah. Well, let's go over real quickly on some things that are hitting the rumor bill a little bit that we just want to say yay or nay on. Do you think Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be there?
Maybe a shortish teaser, but I would say my confidence in that is probably 5%.
I'm going to say flatly no. I think that's a game where if they really want to make a big deal out of it, they'll do a state of play.
Oh, yeah. I would say that the state of play is definitely much more plausible.
Starfield.
Probably no, mostly because of the fact that Todd Howard actually appeared on the Lex Friedman podcast to actually talk about Starfield a bit. And with the whole Activision Microsoft merger thing kind of being a little squirrely, I imagine he's probably going to be nose to the grindstone working on Starfield, if anything.
BioShock.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I want, before you say this, there is likely going to be a trailer for the BioShock TV series or movie that's being developed on Netflix. People are thinking that might go into an announcement of a new BioShock game.
That's an interesting call, especially if they do go with the angle of sort of teasing the next iteration of the BioShock series as kind of a thing that they put on the tail end of the TV show announcement. But I haven't heard really too much on this, so my confidence is a bit low, since they do actually have a potential Netflix TV show announcement. Maybe rate my confidence on this at maybe 15%.
I think they'll show the trailer, and if anything, this smells like we've got this TV show about BioShock. Why not remake the first BioShock? I think that.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that might be what. If there is anything BioShock related, I think that might be what happens. I don't think that's happening. I think BioShock is essentially a dead gaming franchise. To me, I've said this for years now. After Infinite, I was like, BioShock's done. Like, it's done. But people still keep saying, oh, it's coming back, it's coming back. It's not coming back. Stop. It's not. Here's a weird one. Super Mario Odyssey 2.
Ooh.
They are going to probably have a trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie. It may not be a new one, but they're going to have something. Odyssey 2?
Odyssey 2. If they do have any announcement, I would expect it to be an absolute minimum one of, hey, yes, Odyssey 2 is in development. we'll talk about it later in a Nintendo Direct in, I don't know, spring.
See, I don't buy an Odyssey 2 happening. If I recall correctly, the last time they did a sequel to a Mario game, which is Mario Galaxy 2, it did not sell very well. I think what probably happen is if they're going to announce a new Mario, it's a brand new Mario. Period. It's not another Odyssey. It's not.
Yeah.
It's something different. But I also think no, they're not going to announce a new. They're not going to announce a new Mario game, unless it's a 2D game. If it's a 2D game like a new Super Mario Brothers, okay, I can see that. But even then, like Nintendo does gangbusters on their directs. Why would they want to do that on the Game Awards? I mean, I know they did the thing with Joker on Smash in like 2018, but when it comes to a new game, I don't think they would use that on the Game Awards. They would do their own direct. Last of Us Factions.
The multiplayer for Last of Us 1 that they gutted out for the remake.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe as something that they dovetail on the end of teasing the Last of Us HBO TV series.
Yeah, and the TV series is January. So there's probably going to be a trailer for the TV series there. It will probably be the same trailer they just announced recently, which I'll admit looks good. Yeah, I think that's going to be a when it's done thing. I don't think they're going... That's another one where I would expect Sony to wait for a state of play on that. Or, like you said, wait until the last episode of the series and then drop a trailer right after it. That would be, I think, a move. Here's an odd one. Either a Detective Pikachu game or a sequel to Detective Pikachu announced.
Since I haven't really heard too much chatter on this rumor, I'm going to say my confidence in this one is extremely low. Probably not going to be announced, and if it does actually get an announcement, I would expect it to maybe be part of a Nintendo Direct.
Right. I think if anything here, if Ryan Reynolds is presenting there, then it's pretty much confirmed that they're going to announce a sequel to Detective Pikachu, because that actually did decent money, and it wasn't an expensive game to make, but movie, I should say. I'm sorry. So I think it's more than likely if there is a Detective Pikachu announcement, it's a movie. It's not a game. I don't think the game did too hot. I don't remember, to be absolutely honest, but.
Yeah,
but that was also at the tail end of the 3DS, so that was the problem with that game. So, but if there was another, again, if this is another Pokemon game, the Pokemon Company has their own direct. They can announce it there. So again, I think Nintendo's just not going to be there, to be completely honest. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. I've heard zero about this.
Yeah, I was going to say with how quiet things have been, especially with Gotham Knights not doing so hot either, yeah, I don't think this one is likely.
My opinion, Rocksteady is a company that very rarely reveals anything until they're ready. I think we're not going to hear I don't think we're going to hear anything on this at all this year. I don't think he's even coming this year. I think this is 2024, 2025. Because I've heard next to nothing on this. No rumors, no anything. So I'm surprised that I even heard an inkling as to this possibly being there. So I'm gonna say a flat out no on that. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
I would love to see more of this. I would love to see more of it, but
yeah,
with how quiet things have been, I don't think this one is likely.
That's more of a PC gamer show thing, isn't it? Like I don't
PC gamer or maybe a Embracer company-wide sort of thing, because I know Embracer over the summer did their own little like press event online where they were just like, hey, we're going to talk about all the games that we're working on and all the games that are under our brand. So yeah, that's my thought, that either Embracer will do something that is part of their brand, or maybe on the offset they may end up partnering up with Microsoft and do something under a Microsoft presentation where they talk about stuff for Game Pass.
In regards to if there's going to be big announcements or if there's going to be shocking things that are going to happen, I don't think that's the case. There's so many streams now that can do this that I don't think we're going to have anything totally surprising or out there. I think overall, the Game Awards is going to be, I say, 60% announcements, 40% awards to a certain extent. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I would likely agree with that, especially with the fact that we covered this in the beginning of the Game Awards segment, that there doesn't seem to be any major musical acts that they're promoting like they have done in previous years. And then on top of that, just you also have the matter of fact that just Jeff Keighley did announce this week, hey, we're going to make the award show shorter. So that's another thing that may kind of foretell how the show is going to be run. So with those two things in mind, I definitely think that, yeah, it's probably going to be a very, very quick show. Quick to a relative degree. Maybe with no major musical acts, maybe they cut down an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most for the runtime, but not really 100% sure exactly. But we'll ultimately see how it pans out on Thursday.
So wait, you think this is going to be how long now?
They might cut off an hour or an hour and a half of runtime.
I think that's generous, dude. I think 30
yeah.
I think 30 minutes is the max they'll cut off. Mind you, I wouldn't mind that, but I think no. I think this is going to be about 2.5 hours. I think maybe in between those. If it goes past 2.5, I'd be surprised. That's how I would look at it. But okay, we'll see. We are going to watch it on Thursday, and then I would say by Friday we'll have a cut of our reactions from the announcement. Thank you for listening to this podcast segment. The Capital Games podcast is done every week, and we post it on all your favorite podcast apps, as well as segments on YouTube. If you want to listen to another segment, you can listen to a new one right there on the screen. We also do a movie podcast called the Capital Games Movie Club. If you'd like, you can go ahead and click on that and see all the movies that we have reviewed from that point. Thank you for listening, and we hope to hear from you soon.